Hey there, friends and foes. Good morning, multiverse. Welcome to Back of the Cereal Box. I am your host, the prophet of pop culture, John Pica. You can call me Johnny. And if you missed us live last week, rejoice because we are back. Hooray! And this morning, oh my gosh, you guys, this morning I'm so excited because we're going to have a pretty controversial show. We've got some opinionated co-hosts because we are going to be taking a deep dive into the character of Jet Jaguar from the movie Godzilla versus Megalon as part of our Cryptid Crunch Saturday afternoon matinee movie series. And we're going to do all of that right after this from the Murdering Crows.
It's like Coca-Cola, Levi Strauss, Johnny Carson and Mickey Mouse. The first star was James Dean. Elvis Presley, yeah, he's still the king. Some things are only imitatable. You can't beat an original. Oh, you can't beat an original.
All right, friends and foes, that awesome theme song was brought to us by our good friends DL Memphis and the Geek Gumshoe, also known as the Murdering Crows. That album is available from Amazon, iTunes, or Google, anywhere you buy music, and get it now because they announced last week that they have broken up and are no longer a band, but you can still get the album and enjoy it today. And we are, of course, brought to you by our Cereal Box Super Friends. They make this show possible. Cade Hawkins, Eli Cash, Cindy Kep, Sharice Collins, Dave Mattingly, and you too can be a superstar Cereal Box Super Friend. Have your name in lights at buymeacoffee.com/cerealboxpod. That address is going to be running along the bottom on the banner, on the ticker. And you can contribute and be a supporter of the show. That would be awesome. And please welcome my co-host, the one, the only Willow Schuyler, our emotional support Canadian, the Peppermint Princess, looking very Barbie-ish in Winnipeg this morning. I love it. And Willow is a fan of X-Men and Power Rangers and Ninja Turtles and all things superhero and geek. Of course, I forgot to tell people that I'm a fan of Star Wars movies and Avengers comic books and Saturday morning cartoons, and that made me who I am today. So we are two of your co-hosts. Let's welcome in our the third member of our throuple. Willow is your wife's favorite redhead, Aubrey Cavett, and she is a great photographer, cosplayer, artist, and just all around awesome geek historian. You are becoming the historian of this show.
You know
Aubrey.
what? I liked the idea of giving information and sharing it as a kid, and I guess just carried on. I want to share my passion for stuff. So how are you guys doing this morning?
Doing great.
Doing great.
So we have to start with this. What's in our bowl this morning? This morning I am eating again the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Mutant Mayhem cereal. This is an apple cinnamon flavored cereal with marshmallows. But here's the important thing. On the back, it's got a great game, a little board game. And I might actually cut this out and laminate it to play it because it's actually really well thought out. And when we showcased this last time, I had not seen the movie when I tried it the first time. Since I've seen the movie twice, and really good movie, really good. I mean, I wouldn't see it twice if it wasn't really good. The animation style is very distinctive. It's very stylized. I really like that. And Willow, have you seen Mutant Mayhem? No, have
not
you,
yet.
Here's the cool thing about this movie. You guys will like this. So in this movie, the mutants and the outcasts are rendered almost perfectly. The people who are the normal people, the regular people who are not mutants and they do fit in, they look very grotesque. Their faces are, like they're not proportionate. They're it's really kind of a cool commentary that they make on what is beauty, what is acceptable, and whatnot. And the reason why everybody watching we're sharing cereal this morning is we are the back of the cereal box, because I'm of a generation where Saturday mornings meant big bowls of cereal, cartoons, comic books, and kaiju movies. And we didn't have iPhones or tablets at the breakfast table on Saturday morning. So we were reading the back of the cereal box, or we were playing the games, or we were cutting out the records to play, reading the comics on the back. And that's what this show is all about. So Willow,
Yes,
what's
sir.
in your bowl?
Okay, so I'm going truly Canadian with this one. Tim Hortons apple fritters.
Ooh.
I didn't know that was a thing.
Well, that's because, Aubrey, we have Tim Hortons in the Chicago area, northern Indiana and Illinois, but it's really a Canadian thing. And so what's that taste like?
It's actually really good. I hadn't really taken a spoonful, but I've just been like taking it out of my my bowl. I love it.
Okay.
Definitely.
Now, as somebody who is allergic to cinnamon but loves the idea of holiday flavors, is it apple cinnamon?
It definitely tastes like an apple fritter. Yeah, for sure.
Okay. So all those fall
Willow,
fans.
For those of you for our fans, our audience who have never had an apple fritter, describe what an apple fritter is.
It's a donut with chopped apples in it. It's almost like an apple pie, but in a donut.
Now, here in Nashville, we have this place called Three Sisters Bakery, and they do cronuts, which are donuts. They are donuts with croissant dough. Okay, so they're croissant donuts, and their croissant apple fritter, unreal good.
Yum, yum, yum.
Yeah, very, very good.
I think in some places it would also be known as a bear claw, but or are they two different things?
Yeah, there's no apple involved in a bear claw usually.
Bear claw is very cinnamony, and I don't know about you, Aubrey, but I always find bear claws very dry and almost stale.
I feel like they don't put enough frosting on them.
Now, you're allergic to cinnamon, though?
I know, it's super weird. It's not like a popular opinion. A lot of people have questioned it. Even had a few doctors go. But actually, I'm allergic to cassis, which is a different derivative of cinnamon, but it has identical tasting. And a lot of major chains and large food corporations use cassis instead of cinnamon because it's easier to access and cheaper. So just FYI, you may not be allergic to cinnamon. You may be allergic to cassis. We are not all weirdos, but some of us are.
Wow. Well, since you are the weirdo this morning, by the way, I got to tell you, when I tried the Mutant Mayhem cereal the first time, I didn't like it. My opinion has not changed.
So 2 times on the movie, 2 times on the cereal. Movie, yes. Cereal.
No, but I'm starving this morning, so I'm going to finish it. What's in your bowl, Aubrey?
Okay. So well, I do have cereal. I will say that I'm not, again, a huge cereal fan because it's a bad habit of eating too much and drinking too much coffee before I want to have cereal. But I do randomly like a cereal snack in the middle of the day and sometimes at midnight. I don't know if any of you guys do that, but it's not suggested, but sometimes it's fun. So I like this one. because you're about to see, okay, real quick, we are going to be celebrating something very important today. I'm not going to mention ahead of everybody else, but I will say that 30th anniversary something. Anyway, so we are very proud, of this country and the thing that started 30 years ago that we're going to talk about in a little while. But this is red, white, and blue Crunch Star Fun Shapes. It is another limited edition. I don't know how I keep stumbling upon them, but if you do, try stuff out. And also, it has a fun little thing on the back, like, letting your mind go does not have to be just games. It can be mind games too. and I love that they have this fun little rhyme on the back for the kids. It's a very breakaway from the scanning
Well, it's almost like
ability.
Mad Libs.
It is, and you could, well, I know we're the generation that was like, ooh. So it is red, white, and blue.
Yeah. Now, I will tell you, Aubrey, I have had this cereal. I think I still have
Okay.
a box of it
Okay.
downstairs. I actually love this cereal because it is just Captain Crunch, but with the red, white, and blue colors.
So there's no
So
flavor?
I don't remember there being a distinct flavor other than Captain Crunch, but let's see.
Johnny, I think you missed the nuance of flavor in there.
Did I? Well,
There's a little bit of raspberry in there. The blue, the schnozberries taste like schnozberries.
really?
Mhm.
Maybe I'll have to try it again. It's been a while since I've had it, but I love everything Captain Crunch.
The blue definitely has a flavor. I don't know about the red.
Okay.
Okay,
Well,
but I do have one more thing.
Okay.
Cereal's not usually my thing, but when I was a kid, I was addicted to these. I could not get Pop-Tarts as a kid. I have to warn you, that sound makes me so happy.
Oh, wait. So let me bring you full screen here. What Pop-Tarts are these?
Hold on, I want to open it.
Aubrey is struggling with the technology. Oh, the Eggo waffle
Eggo
Pop-Tarts.
frosted maple. Oh my God, guys.
So
Okay.
these are brand new.
Mhm.
They just came out last year when I say brand new. But
Oh my God.
I had them, and Aubrey is opening them up. She's trying to get them out of the package.
It's pretty crumbled. I got it at a gas station, but it's yellow. It's yellow.
Yeah, it looks like an Eggo waffle, and
Oh, interesting.
yeah, give it a bite. See if it tastes like an Eggo waffle with
I
maple
was
syrup.
gonna, but the color made me a little scared. It matches.
No.
Matches
That's
my
the
top.
it's the right color.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, it's the right color. Okay. Now, some would say taking a bite of this untoasted is controversial.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't mind ruffling a few feathers. No,
I personally don't like Pop-Tarts untoasted. I want them warmed and toasted. But what do you think?
seek a toaster immediately.
Yeah.
Seek a toaster immediately. It's very, very dry. Oh, I will say it's edible. If you got to go in the morning and you're a Pop-Tart fan still as an adult or as a young adult or a kid, whatever, and you
So
have a chance to have that with some coffee or some cocoa, that still works without the toaster.
All
But
right.
mostly
So
it needs a toaster.
So does it taste like cardboard? Sorry,
no,
Johnny.
I think it tastes good. It's just so dry. It's hard to really appreciate it. But here's what I'm going to tell you to do, Aubrey. Ask this question. Will it cereal? And the answer is going to be absolutely 100%.
Okay, I giggle about food all the time, y'all. This has nothing to do with being on camera. I'm a foodie. I love food, and I am really excited about this. Okay, it went in the bowl. I'm gonna break it up just a tiny bit, and then
yeah, this is going to change the entire complexion of that Pop-Tart. She's trying it. She's tasting it. Oh, her eyes are telling the tale. Johnny was absolutely right, wasn't I? Yes.
I was worried it's going to taste like frosting in a bowl, but and I don't like mushy cereal. That's weird.
Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah. Yeah. Pop-Tarts in milk in a bowl are amazing.
Okay, new thing.
Yeah. Yeah. So,
Thank you.
oh, you're welcome. It's my pleasure. So, hey guys, Aubrey hinted at it, but we need to acknowledge that today, to the day, is the 30th anniversary of the Power Rangers, 1993 to 2023. Today was the day in 1993 that the Power Rangers debuted in the United States, and still going strong. And you know, I know Willow, you're a huge Power Rangers fan. You've got your is this the singing dragon's sword?
Yes.
All right, let's the flute sword.
Oh,
Which I
okay.
never-
It does sing. It's just I think I have it on the wrong setting. So
I never understood this weapon. I never understood why a sword needed to play music or sing or, be a flute.
I know.
But I mean, it looks cool. I mean, it's let's face it. A flute sword is probably the most Japanese thing ever. The most anime.
The design is a clarinet.
Yeah.
The mouthpiece is somewhat like flute-ish.
Oh my.
But yeah.
Willow, can you play it? Or at least pretend to play it? Ladies and gentlemen, there's your OnlyFans. All right, so did you guys hear the news? This is good news. We of course, Jimmy Buffett passed away. That's not the news I'm talking about. Bray Wyatt passed away. Terry Funk passed away. We're losing a lot of icons, but that's not the news I'm talking about. Who else? Arlene Sorkin, the voice of Harley Quinn, passed away last week.
Yeah.
That's all bad news, but we've got good news. Have you guys heard this good news? This week, Back of the Cereal Box charted at number 12. Number 12 in the US on the Apple Podcast charts. Now, as Aubrey and I had a conversation during this week, we are not just on iTunes. We're everywhere. iTunes, Spotify, iHeart, Google, Amazon, Audible, Podchaser, Podbean, Podopolo, everywhere you can get an audio podcast, we are seen and heard. So, but number 12 on Apple, and Apple is the big one. Apple is the king of the podcast distribution market. So, super, super excited about that. Well, guys, we got some viewer comments that we need to get to, and these viewer comments are brought to you by, sponsored by, the Tales of the Decoverse series, Night Reich, One Night at the Roxy, the League of Impossibles comic, and Volume 3 of the book series is coming out this fall, available at Amazon, Barnes & Noble, and we got so many comments. It's crazy. Crazy people are joining us. We got JAP Blueberries says first. Dave Mattingly says, good morning, Box Tops. Good morning. And Mr. Blueberries continues to comment first.
Someone is excited to be here this morning.
Yes.
Hello,
Yes.
Mr. Blueberries.
And Annan by Disaster says, good morning. Good morning. And Aubrey says, morning, Cereal Box fans and fam. Love it, love it, love it. Chris Goins from Black Sheep Studio says, morning, folks.
Ooh.
And
Hello, Chris.
Jap Blueberries is just...
Okay, how much coffee did you have? Or are you allowed to have coffee?
Yeah, you are allowed to have coffee. But Glenn B.
We
Fleming
finally
says,
made it, folks. We finally have a big fan.
Well, so Glenn B. Fleming says, you guys are crazy, but here's the secret, Aubrey or Willow. Glenn has been a fan of ours for a long time. He's commented before. So good morning, Glenn. Good to see you from across the pond. Dave Mattingly says, Aubrey, sharing your specialized passion is the very heart of geekdom. I love that. And Glenn Fleming said, came over to the YouTube. I'll say it again. You guys are crazy. Love it. And Dave Mattingly says, Glenn, so you'll fit right in with us. Yes, that's true. And he laughs at that. Dave Mattingly says, apple fritter cereal. I have a new goal in life.
Ooh,
It is
Willow starting
delicious,
trends
guys.
over
If you guys
here.
can get your hands on it, do. It's delicious.
I love that. And you know what? There we go. Okay. I needed to make an adjustment to your microphone level, Willow. So we are now on an equal EQ. So Dave Mattingly also says, earlier this year, I tried a French toast fritter. Ooh, it was amazing. And Dave Mattingly agrees with me. Yes, bear claws are dry and stale, but somehow sticky. The worst of both worlds. Yes, that is absolute 100% true. And Chris Goins says, here at home, we have the Village Bake Shop, and their apple fritters are amazing and as big as your head. Yeah, I love that. That's how they should be.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's
A real
lot of garbage.
apple fritter should be this big. I mean, it should really be this big. Yeah.
7-Eleven has really good apple fritters.
You know where you can get amazing apple fritters? Your local county fair.
Really?
Yeah, from the really sketch truck with the big vat of oil. Let me just say, elephant ears and apple fritters at the fair are amazing. The dirtier the grease, the better it tastes. Willow does not seem to be enticed by that idea.
No, because our local fair is the Red River X, and it's overpriced, and it lately hasn't been worth going.
Well,
Hi, Andrew.
Andrew Milden says, good morning, box tops. Well, Willow, sometimes you have to just, put aside, everything and go enjoy the fair for what it is. Dave Mattingly says, howdy, Drew. How's your battle with the world going? And happy Morphin birthday, says Dave Mattingly. Happy birthday to the Mighty Morphin Rangers, 30 years old.
They're still young. It's fine.
And Dave Mattingly says, number 12, welcome to the Dirty Dozen. That's right. And Andrew Milden, they're just all having a conversation in our chat.
I love it. Interaction.
And Andrew says, hey, Dave, world 1 million, me 2, highly contested. And Ryan Permisson joins us. Good morning, everyone. Happy Labor Day weekend, everyone. Go to your local comic shop and treat yourself. Well,
speaking of which,
that's a great segue for our favorite segment, New Loot, where we reach into the cereal box and pull out our favorite prizes. And Aubrey is chomping at the bit, so we're going to let her go first. She's going to pull out a prize from the cereal box. Look at that. Look at how smoothly she did that. I love that.
Okay, so yes, I have not opened this one yet. This is Codename Spitfire. Okay, I have to be dead honest with you. I have never, ever heard of this comic. But the fact that I found it and that I'm a ginger, I don't know, maybe it's kismet. But guys, I mean, the art on this, it's kind of amazing. So the colors are very vibrant in this, but they show like a super retro look. This is a well-loved one, by the way. When you go to a comic store, I will say as comic fan, I am not one of those people that's like, it's got to be pristine. I want to know that this comic was loved before, so I don't mind a little bit of wrinkle. But here we go. We got some more M&M advertisements from back in the day.
Yeah, I love that. Aubrey is showing the cover of Codename Spitfire. And this was part of the New Universe comic series from Marvel. And as 87. Wow. And as
Mhm.
she opens it, there's the ad on the inside for M&Ms. Love it. Now, who was
Okay.
the artist on this, Aubrey?
Okay. Codename Spitfire. It looks like
And this is, by the way, the final issue. It only lasted,
it
what,
is.
13 issues?
Yeah. Yeah. This is the very last issue. It says
Yeah.
last issue on the front. It's got her as in a major battle. Um,
This
I'm
was kind of,
thinking,
so we've talked about the New Universe before. The New Universe was a project that, you know, Marvel did where they created a new universe, a
mhm.
multi-dimensional universe. Ooh, look at the ad for Kraven's Last Hunt. Maybe
Yeah,
the best Spider-Man story ever written.
right.
But
Some darkness in that story.
yeah, that needs to be
But
adapted to a movie.
check
Maybe not.
out Codename Spitfire. If you've never heard of the comic, um, I have not opened it till today. I will be reading it today after this episode, and I
Oh,
am
so
interested.
Universe News, there's an ad for the subscriptions. I love that. I used
And
to
then
subscribe to the Avengers and a bunch of, oh, and an ad on the back
a
for Chips Ahoy.
classic
That's a
Chips
game.
Ahoy. It
That's
is.
a
So
game, isn't
you're
it? Yeah.
supposed to be able to cut this off and then like play it. But
Yeah.
nobody would want to do that. But at the same time, it is well loved. And I will say, again, sometimes you find stuff in the bargain bin that was completely worth the money.
So I never read Codename Spitfire, but I remember the concept. If I'm not mistaken, it was the New Universe's version of Iron Man, but she was in the suit, and it was a big clunky suit. It wasn't like, you know, super streamlined, uh, sleek like Iron Man. It was like the Mark One Iron Man.
Yeah,
But
so that's the picture right there. It's a very red outfit. You see?
yeah,
Right on this side over here.
yeah, it's hard to see, but yeah, it was a red suit of armor,
Yep,
kind of like
solid red.
yeah. But go check out. Yeah, you can get those for pennies on the dollar at the at your local comic book shop.
There she
Yeah,
is right there.
let me bring that up. Yeah, there
There
she
she
is
is
in the
right
suit.
there. She is hiding around a corner, trying to be stealthy in this amazing mech suit. So yeah, women in mech suits. Come on, guys, check
Kind
out
of reminds
Codename
me
Spitfire.
of Super Metroid.
Right? Right. In 1987, we had a ginger female, in a mech suit. Come on, check it out, guys. Kaiju style monster robots.
Marvel, if you're looking
Mhm.
for your next blockbuster movie or series, Codename
Mm,
Spitfire may be the one.
right? Bring her back.
Yeah. So Willow, do you got any loot this morning? Any prizes from your cereal box?
No, but you go, Johnny. I think I do have something. I'll be right back.
All right. So last weekend we were not live because Johnny was at Indie PopCon. And at Indie PopCon, we broadcast live from the podcast stage. It was me and Kale Hollow from Cryptid Crunch, and had a great time. You can hear that episode on Apple and iTunes and Google, all the places where you get audio podcasts. But at the con, I picked up some cool stuff. So first, this was gifted to us to review. This is the graphic novel Hunter Ninja Bear. It's by Phenom Comics, written by Chuck Dixon. Artist is Mel Ruby, inker Rob Hunter. Those are some pretty big time players. And basically, this is a 3-way battle royale between a hunter cowboy, a ninja, and a almost kaiju powered bear in the Old West. And I love everything about this concept. I've only just started reading it. We're going to do a full review on Back Issue Breakfast Club this week, so be on the lookout for that. And this is, according to the creator, this is being optioned in Hollywood for an adaptation, so that could be really cool.
Oh,
Now,
I'm excited about that.
I also went by the booth for what is the game company? They Unstable Games. They had a booth, and they're the makers of Unstable Unicorns. And so I picked up a copy of Unstable Unicorns. This is the game where you build a unicorn army, betray your friends. Unicorns are your friends now. And I picked this up, and then this one will not be a fan. My family will not enjoy, because
Oh.
you do betray your friends, and feelings get hurt. According to one person who was in the booth with me, she's like, "But it's super fun." But only play it with people that you don't value their friendship. But this one looks to be super fun, and that is Tic Tac KO. Dragons versus Unicorns. It is a card-based version of tic-tac-toe. You play cards on a giant grid, but this game lets you knock other players out of their space. So, we haven't played it yet. I got it specifically for this weekend. So we're going to play it over Labor Day weekend, family game night. I can't wait, because my daughter is an absolute tic-tac-toe fanatic. So she's going to love playing this, and I can't wait. So, Willow, what'd you find?
All right, so I don't have the makeup palette with me right now, but I went and bought beauty live music Sephora Blues Beauty makeup palette from Marshall's. It was 30% off.
Nice.
And I will be playing around with this makeup palette hopefully soon, because it is very pretty.
Nice.
Has some blue, browns. So yeah, 30% off. Can't go wrong. Thank you, Marshalls, for making me spend my money frivolously. But
hey, you can't complain about that. It's reliving the fun of the Saturdays of our youth. Embracing that inner child, and I love that you're doing that. So, all right. So we got a few more comments before we get to Jet Jaguar. Chris Goins with Black Sheep Studio says, talking about the fair food, there is a fine line between adhering to health code and really good food. Yes, that's right. And Andrew Milden adds, you need the oil to be chunky for good fried foods.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
No, thank you, Andrew.
But it's true, though. He's not wrong. Ryan Permisson says, my new loot is new Star Wars shirts, Star Wars Episode 1 action figures, and Power Rangers 30th anniversary comic. It's Morphin' Time. I'm going to be going to the comic book shop after the show and getting that 30th anniversary comic, because although I never was a fan of the Power Rangers TV show, Willow, I am a big fan of the Power Rangers comics.
So, Johnny, real quick.
Yeah.
Just a question. Our fans can follow us on Facebook, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and so they can be part of our little Facebook group, right?
That's right.
So if you guys want to share your loot with us, please feel free to post your pictures on Saturday morning or before the next Saturday morning, and show us what you got. Show us your loot. Like, I'm interested. I want to know, what did you guys find? And are you willing to share where you got it from?
So Aubrey, you've just gotten an assignment. I'm putting you in charge of reminding people on the Saturday Morning Rec Room Facebook group to do that every week.
Okay. And I'll even give a clue about what I'm going to take out of the cereal box.
All right. I love it. Love it. And Spitfire, says Dave Mattingly, was an interesting premise. A teacher and her students find a mech suit and split the parts among themselves. I'd forgotten about that. Okay. And Dave Mattingly agrees. Craven's Last Hunt was so amazing. So can we just have this little sidebar for just a minute? Craven's Last Hunt is the best Spider-Man story ever told, full-length Spider-Man story, in my opinion. And I've always said, if they want to adapt source material for a movie, that should be it. But then I think about this. I think maybe I don't want them to do that because that story was so perfect. I feel like Hollywood would not get it right.
What if they changed it, Johnny? What if they
Well, that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. I'm fearful. So Marvel, please do not adapt Craven's Last Hunt.
No, you can do identical. You can do identical, but don't alter it.
Yeah, let's leave it in the print form. Brad Parnell says, speaking of gingers and cons from last weekend, I met a ginger from Nashville at the con I was at in E-Tail last Sunday. She was my next table vendor neighbor and wonderfully tabled at her cosplay, or talented at her cosplay. That must be Ginger O'Snap from Nashville. Cool. And Andrew Milden says, Marshalls, we have deals for you, but you have to find them. It's like a bargain hunt, right?
Andrew, you did a shopping with me. I know where all the deals are.
And Andrew asks again, Johnny, have you watched the movie, the original movie, the Ninja Turtles movie he's talking about? No, I have not, Andrew. But you know what? I promise you, we are going to be getting to it. Ooh. We got more series coming.
Oh.
And Chris Goins says, my new loot is the Playmobil Scooby-Doo Mystery Machine and the OG Ghostbusters from my beautiful wife for my birthday. That is awesome. And Ryan Permisson says, I got Craven's Last Hunt in paperback, Johnny. Well, that is awesome. I've got it in hardcover.
Johnny, say it closer to the mic.
Yes.
Slower for all of those who are listening.
Well, and Chris Goins says Hollywood really would screw it up. Yes, they would. And Andrew says, no, not the Ninja Turtles movie, the Power Rangers movie. The original Power Rangers movie? I don't know which one that is, Andrew. I will watch it for you, but you got to send me a link to it or something, because anyway. And Cartoon Commotion, Kate Hawkins says, hiya, friends.
Hi,
missed a lot, but I'll catch up with the replay. Well, you're just in time, Cade, for our main topic. And this is brought to us by nightlyspirits.com. Ghost tours in 17 cities around the country, and we are going into spooky season, so you can go on a ghost tour anywhere we lead a tour in the country. Use my promo code JohnP667 and take 10% off. That will be awesome. And last night I did a ghost tour, and we had 2 guests get touched and tapped on the back of the head. It was pretty cool. It was awesome. Awesome. But Nightly Spirits is the sponsor of our Saturday morning movie matinee series, Saturday Morning 101. And this morning we are going to be talking about my all-time favorite Godzilla character from the split decision movie Godzilla versus Megalon. It is Jet Jaguar. Now, you guys, I have a Jet Jaguar t-shirt, but I'm not wearing it. I couldn't find it this morning.
No.
I've got a t-shirt it's black with his face just in silver. It's
I'm fairly
awesome.
certain you've worn it
I have
on previous episodes.
I have. But I love Jet Jaguar. I met Jet Jaguar in Godzilla versus Megalon thanks to Superhost Marty Sullivan at WUAB Channel 43 on a Saturday afternoon. And I think, Aubrey, that Godzilla versus Megalon may be the first Godzilla movie I actually watched all the way through.
Your very first? Okay, all the way through. Okay.
Yeah, yeah.
What year was that? Can you remember?
Well, it was in the 70s. Maybe early 80s.
Okay.
because that's when Superhost was on the air, and I absolutely fell in love with the character of Jet Jaguar. He is I have figures, I have poster prints, I even have I was so excited because last week on comic shelves, Godzilla Monsters and Protectors, it's a story about Jet Jaguar. And yeah, so super excited about that. And I love him. Now, Jet Jaguar debuted in the movie Godzilla versus Megalon, and this is Megalon. He was like a beetle bug kaiju, and Aubrey will have more detail to fill in just a minute. But the movie was originally supposed to be a solo Jet Jaguar versus Megalon movie, but in the last minute, they decided they needed to put Godzilla in it, and they added Gigan, a very, very popular kaiju monster, in to fight Jet Jaguar and Godzilla. And for those of you who don't know Jet Jaguar, he is a robot that can fly. He can change shape. He can shoot energy beams. He's got all kinds of cool superpowers, including super ninja martial arts skills. And I absolutely love this character. And I know, based on our pre-show banter, that Aubrey and Willow have mixed feelings about Godzilla versus Megalon and probably about Jet Jaguar in general. So who wants to go first?
I'll let Aubrey go first because she has the nice things to say.
Oh no! Oh, I'm supposed to be the good cop. Uh-oh.
Oh yeah, okay, right. You
no,
you
it's
have
okay.
controversial
I
opinions on
have
it.
slightly controversial. Okay. So okay, Willow, thank you. But yeah. All right. So guys, like, here's the deal, Johnny. I know you give us like assignments. I've never met this character. I was firm when I said Gamera is my favorite. Okay, for the record. Just because I'm a newbie doesn't mean I didn't have a favorite, and I had good reason. Gamera is our savior. Anyway, always hardcore for Gamera. But I have to say, I like Megalon. I like Megalon. He's the bad guy. I like Megalon. His costume is so cool. Oh my god. Okay, so first of all, the detail they put in the costume for Megalon is amazing. Okay, I like it better than the yeah, I know he's the hero. I know he's the hero. I know we're supposed to be talking about the robot Jet Jaguar. I like the villain. I like the villain in this. Okay. Second of all, yes, there he is. Look at that costume, guys. Okay, so when his wings open up, not only are his wings patterned and brightly colored on the outside, but his wings open up and there's like veins and underneath and there's sheer and there's so much depth in this costume. I was so impressed. His was more realistic than both Godzilla's and Jet Jaguars, in my opinion. So, okay, I like a monster. But also, you guys, like, I watched this movie like 4 times. I've never seen it in my life. I watched it 4 times.
4 times?
4 times. Okay, so the action is a little creepy because in Japan, and correct me if I'm wrong, audience, I'm fine with that. If I'm wrong, I'm one of those people. Please let me know. Don't let me continue thinking silly things. That's fine. They had real tanks, like live real people in real big tanks and jeeps. Oh my god, the action scenes. There's an action scene, guys. I'm scooting up to the camera because this is intense. Okay, there is an action scene in there with 2 cars and a motorcycle. If you know Japanese culture, because I love anime, sidebar. Anyway, they ride down the stairs of a holy place. That's a holy place. Their temples are holy places. They have these weird little stairs that you have to walk up. It's like a journey, part of the journey of experiencing the temple. You know, it's respect. It's honoring the temple. They're like, boom, 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 boom. I'm like,
Okay, so you watched this movie 4 times. Did you see the moment where the one car bottomed out on the steps?
Yeah, I was like, I'm pretty sure they won't get there.
Yeah.
Okay, but all right. Okay, again, this is nothing wrong. I'm not going to say this is bad. Very heavy male influence in this movie. There is not one female that is in this movie, except for I'm going to get to them, the Zetopians. And here is where the rest of my controversial opinion of this movie comes from. Okay, sidebar, I love the action scenes. As I said, they're funny, they're realistic, it's crazy, they're loud, it's violent. You see blood in this movie. One of the Zetopians gets a drone to the face. A drone to the face, blood spurting out of his face. This is the Godzilla movie. This is a kid's movie. There's a little kid in the movie. Lots of blood. Okay, not a normal thing in these movies. Also, okay, this is where it gets controversial. If anybody knows me at all, if you know, you know, you know, right? I have a thing for underdogs, but I also have a thing for people that were there first. Does anybody know who the Zetopians are? Did you guys watch the movie, so you know who the Zetopians are? Okay, so for all of our audience who doesn't know, they are ancient race that live under our ocean floor. They created their own sun because they got trapped down there. They created their own oxygen source. They are a peaceful people who have secret agents, laser guns, smoke guns. Johnny's
Wait,
face.
wait a minute. Peaceful people.
Yes. Yes, sir.
No. They're the ones who sent Megalon to
Mm,
destroy the human race.
here's where we're controversial because I'm saying they were there first. They were there first, and you know why? You know why they did it? They were defending their people. They lost a third of their nation worth of people that they had saved from this disaster living underneath there. They created their sun, they created their oxygen, and then our nuclear testing destroyed a third of their population. I'm sorry, but if I have a giant monster and you destroy a third of my population, I'm going to call him too. Megalon, Megalon. And if I was not in an episode and didn't respect Johnny so much, I wouldn't be in Jet Jaguar's colors. I would be in Zetopian outfit. I am Team Zetopian as seen by my silver in the background.
Well,
I
okay.
love the Zetopians.
In all fairness, the Zetopian women were rather good looking. And I didn't remember when I recently watched this movie back, I didn't remember the tantric sexual ritual at the beginning of the movie with the Zetopians.
Yeah.
Okay. On a spicy note, any of the younger people that are watching, you do the cover your ears, okay? And any older people, I'm gonna scoot up to the camera really quick. There's a spicy saucy moment. There's a spicy saucy moment in this movie where they have a couple of truckers that have the scientist and his brother in a container, and they're gonna die. And these look like Cheech and Chong. This guy has some amazing 70s on, and in the background, in their truck, is a very saucy, spicy, naughty picture. One is a ginger, mind you, and the other one is a brunette that is double panel. And there is some things that should not be seen.
Yeah.
That Japanese would not encourage. Did Johnny miss that?
I've missed this detail.
I catch all the naughty bits. I'm sorry.
Okay, wait. Now I got to Google it. While I Google that, Willow, share your impressions.
Okay, I'm with you, Aubrey, with a lot of what you said. But yeah, it's very shocking that you have like the Playboy bunny centerfold in the back window. But here's the funny thing. When it was brought to America, they did edit a lot of those details out. So unless if you watched like the original cut, the original dub version, you get to see all of these fascinating details. But if you just see the American cut, you miss all of it. the scantily clad women in silver and
I loved that part.
that's probably the best part of the movie. Yeah, I know Johnny's shaking his head at me.
All right, so update to my Google search. I cannot find any pictures of those.
You're not
Take
gonna.
the adult
You're
thing
not gonna.
off.
Johnny, you're
Your
gonna have to go
search.
back and watch it again.
Now I'm gonna have to go back and watch the whole thing again, because I did see it in the edited version first, and I've seen it. I probably watch this movie once a year, and I recently just watched it again on either Tubi or on Pluto, and I watched it in the original Japanese version, the subtitle version. I don't remember seeing that, probably because I was reading the blasted subtitles.
Okay, so I'm a fashion hound. And the trucker had this cool hat on, and I'm serious. He was like fashion forward in this truck, and I'm staring at his hat, and then I see a nipple behind his head, and I go, "What is it? So I paused it and I rewound, and so I said, I've watched it 4 times. It's definitely a nipple. I don't know how did Japan let that slip, but I'm so glad they did.
Wait, there was a nipple slip?
No, that's the centerfold. The centerfold is very classy in the way she's laying, but there is a yeah, that went over my head.
That's all right. I'm so excited to go back and watch that. The 12-year-old boy inside of me is jumping for joy right now.
Goodness.
So yeah. Anyway, you were talking about the design of Megalon. I found another great picture of Megalon. Of course, he didn't have any hands. He just had these like vibro blade claws.
So cool, though.
And this is my favorite picture from the production of this movie.
Yeah.
The four characters on set dancing. Apparently, this was they were playing this music, and they were just all having a great time. And I love that. Love that. But Willow, so you were not a fan of Jet Jaguar or the movie, or?
I think, okay, production wise, yeah, it was a pretty poor production because when I first watched it, I'm just like, oh, okay, this is a very weirdly put together. But I mean, because I've watched Power Rangers all my life, and you had some really bad cheesy moments with that show. I'm used to that. But then I went back and I watched a video that talks a little bit of like the production aspect and the actors and stuff like that. They reused images from all their films for this movie.
Well, so let's talk about that. This movie was originally supposed to be a launching point solo movie for Jet Jaguar. Jet Jaguar was created in a contest where fans created a new kaiju creature, monster, but this 12-year-old boy submitted the giant robot Jet Jaguar, obviously inspired by Ultraman or maybe even Spectre Man. Yes.
Okay, sorry.
Aubrey.
I will say that while it was slightly inspired, the original design of him, Red alone, was not like this. He had wings. He had horns. He was completely different than one that the child created. Same colors.
See, I've tried to find that original artwork and I can't find it. So
the only ones you can find are very, very blurry. They're very bad. But he did have a beak, and he had wings, and he had horns. He looked different completely. He did not look like this Ultra Spectrum Man style robot, which, I kind of wish they had stayed true to the kids' creation.
Well, no, I'm glad they didn't. So Toho, the studio that created the movie, took Jet Jaguar based from the contest, and created this character specifically to launch this movie to compete with Ultraman. They thought this was going to be their big, competition. The big. Anyway, they get into this movie, and like 3/4 of the way to completing the movie, they're like, they start to lose confidence in the promotional power of Jet Jaguar. And they say, well, maybe we should put Godzilla in this movie. And so
They need
what?
star power.
Yeah, it did not start out having Godzilla. It was just Jet Jaguar versus Megalon. And you see that wonky editing, Willow, that you're talking about, is because they had to insert Godzilla into the story retroactively, behind the scenes. And so they used a lot of stock footage, and they made the final battle a tag team between Godzilla and Jet Jaguar versus Megalon and Gigan. And it really was like watching a WWE or NWA tag team wrestling match.
I agree, Johnny. There was a lot of wrestling moves in there,
which I loved. That's part of the reason I love this so much.
Okay, so he was read alone until they finished making the suit completely. Like his name up until that moment, until they finished making the last gluing on that suit, which, by the way, was highly flammable and very combustible. And so they had to make sure that they were really careful on set, because he was the one that was most combustible. I thought it would be Megalon, but they said like the coating and the shaping of the suit made him highly combustible. But he was read alone till that last gluing moment. And then they were like, oh, Jet Jaguar.
Oh, I didn't know that. Well, Jet Jaguar did have his own theme song. Punch, punch, punch. I love that. And look, the whole story is really about the relationship between the little boy and the robot. And at one point, the what is the ancient race called again? I always want to say Exilians. The what? The Zetopians. Because all throughout Godzilla mythology, there's an alien race called the Exilians that reappear over and over, and we'll talk about them probably in a couple of weeks. But the Zetopians, at one point, try to take control of Jet Jaguar.
Yes, they did.
And it's the relationship between Jet Jaguar and the little boy that frees Jet Jaguar's quote unquote mind. And, I love that whole aspect. That you mentioned, Aubrey, that you loved Gamera. And that was a big aspect of Gamera, was his relationship to the children. And here you have that relationship between Jet Jaguar and the little boy. And when I was, 10 or 11, seeing this movie for the first time, that really spoke to me in a big, big way. And maybe that's why I love this character so much and love this movie so much.
So one of the dynamics that I loved in the movie is that there was this sense that the little boy was just as important in his intellect, not so much the connection with the robot, but his intellect. His brother, his big brother, respected him as much as his colleague that was there with them.
Well, his big brother was the muscle for the scientist.
His big brother
right?
was the scientist. The scientist was
the other way around. Okay.
Yeah, and so the muscle was actually like a friend that he was talking to about it. But the scientist was working with the government, on his ideals for Jet Jaguar. The reason the Zetopian agents tried to steal him is because they wanted a giant army. They didn't have enough people because they lost a third of their people. So they wanted a giant army of Jet Jaguars. So that was their plan up until the last second, when they the scientist was able to like press a button and be like, no, Jet Jaguar, come back. No.
I loved it. I love everything about this character. I want more Jet Jaguar. And look, I've had this conversation over and over with Godzilla historians. This movie did not do well. It is much maligned by the Japanese people. They did not like this movie. They consider it an embarrassment. However, Jet Jaguar is a Godzilla fan favorite. If you go on the Godzilla Facebook groups, people love this character. And they did bring him back for the animated series Godzilla Singular Point, but this is Jet Jaguar in that
Yeah.
animated show. He's not a robot, he is a pilot driven mech. And I'm not a fan of this design. I'm going to be honest with you. But I'll take Jet Jaguar in any form that I can get him. Willow, you were about to say.
Had they just like kept up with their original premise of it being a Jet Jaguar movie, it probably would have been better. I know that they kind of messed with the design of Godzilla for that movie as well. Kind of gave Godzilla a bit of more of a doggy, cute face.
Well,
He has such
they've done
kind
that.
eyes. Sweet eyes. I'm like, oh.
Well, they do that in just about every movie. They have to do upgrades to the suit. There's a different suit every time. And yeah, there he is. This is kind of considered by most to be the quintessential 70s look of Godzilla. We see this style of Godzilla in Destroy All Monsters and the Son of Godzilla. And yeah, he is I mean, they based a toy off of this character, the Shogun Warriors Godzilla. So yeah.
Is that a design that is well liked amongst Godzilla fans, or is that one of the more mocked version?
You know what? Everybody has their own favorite. And because this is the Godzilla I was introduced to, it has a special place in my heart. But you are right. I mean, his facial features are a little bit doggish. In another movie in this era, he meets King Caesar, who was like a dog lion hybrid. And, again, that facial structure was very popular in Japanese mythology. If you look at the dragons in Japanese mythology, they have that kind of almost dog-shaped face. So I think probably in Japanese culture, this is probably a pretty popular design. I'm just guessing. I don't know. If we have any fans from Japan, chime in and tell me.
Cartoon Commotion Cade says something really interesting. Wasn't this the film where Zilla does his famous drop kick?
Yes.
He does do this in this movie, and he does it in other movies as well.
Yeah. On this one, he glides on his tail, which again I loved. That's my favorite part because Jet Jaguar is holding. I think it's Megalon, or was he holding Gigan? Which one was he holding, Aubrey? But he's holding him, and Godzilla backs up. He runs, jumps, glides on his tail, does the drop kick, and then Jet Jaguar picks him up again, and they do it again, and he picks him up again, and they do it again. I think 3 times. It was epic. I love that.
The comical part of that fight where Godzilla was like kind of faking him out, and he was like, oh, look, I can do this. And he just goes after him. There's like almost a fun in the way Godzilla, because it's like he's like, you got nothing on me. Like, I got this. Even though there's 2 of them. Because there was 2 of them. There was Megalon and Gigan. I mean,
it was like
with those giant like slicer hands.
Yeah, I mean, it was like Godzilla is Ric Flair and Jet Jaguar is Arn Anderson, or Hulk Hogan and Randy Macho Man Savage teaming up.
I was expecting an elbow drop some point.
That actually happens in another movie. Yeah, we'll probably get to that. So before we get to viewer comments again, any last thoughts about this or last facts that you did not share with us, Aubrey, in your research? Since you watched it 4 times, I can't believe that. You know what? You're hired.
So I just have to say, one of the funniest things about listening to the details or reading the details about them making this movie, yes, they did have a lot of stock, but they did have those tanks. But come on, guys, like, how did they make these props move? Okay, so there was only two that were made, okay, for the Jet Jaguar, because again, he's never been and he wasn't really after, right? So there was the person in the suit, and then there was two flying props. One was like these big, so it goes,
Mm-hmm. And
like
it's
that's
obvious.
that's my mocking version of, oh, we're sliding it around this,
Well, and he
right,
did make that sound.
right.
Yeah.
And then the other one was like a full size human version. Um, so that was, a little bit difficult to move. But when the adult in the suit, the actor, who, by the way, said that he could have done his action scenes better if the costume had not been so hard to see out of, because the eyes were actually tiny little slits underneath his eyes. Tiny little nose slits was where the actor was trying to see out of. They're like the size of your pinky nail. They're so tiny. And then the eyes of Jet Jaguar were actually car head backlights. The glass shape.
Yeah,
That's
they
what
did
those were
that
made
a
out of.
lot. They used car headlights or taillights a lot
So
for the
imagine you're in
monsters in
this
these
like
movies.
So imagine you're like in this crazy costume, right? You're like trying to like be energetic and super, and then they tell you to stand on a wooden plank, and they're gonna have four guys lift you up in the air real fast. But don't fall, and we're not gonna put anything around you that's gonna make you not fall. But go like that. Go straight up in the air with your arms and just make the sound, and just don't be scared and don't shake. Be real super strong when you can't see, and we want to throw you up in the air with because that's what they did. They put it on him on a plank of wood and they lifted him up for the action scenes where he shoots off into the air. Oh my gosh. And then it's combustible. This and he can't see. This poor actor did an amazing job in this suit to do and pull off any of these and not be like, I'm gonna catch on fire, I'm gonna die, I'm gonna fall. So props, because as 30th anniversary, as we're tying in this little shout out to the Power Rangers, I have to say, anybody that was Power Rangers or the kaiju that had to dress in these costumes where you can't see, you can't breathe, and you're going to get caught on fire, like it's a risk every day. So thank you from all of us fans who are like, I don't know if I could do that. I love costuming, but man, if I can't breathe and I can't see and you're going to catch me on fire, see you tomorrow.
Love it, love it, love it. So Brad Parnell has a comment. He says WDRB in Louisville, and that's how it's pronounced, folks, Louisville, used to play a lot of kaiju movies on Saturday afternoons, and Godzilla versus Megalon was played often, as I recall. Yeah, I saw this probably more than any other movie except Destroy All Monsters, which we're going to be getting to in a couple of weeks. Chris Goyne says, watch Godzilla versus Megalon yesterday. Jet Jaguar is really cool, but the human characters are really bad. Yes. And that, I think, really speaks more to the editing of the story than anything. I think there's a point where you can see they didn't really know where this story was going. Because it repeats a couple of times, and you know the human characters do really stupid things, but then they have like this hidden knowledge that you're like, what? How do they know how the Zelians or the Zootopians are doing what? It was. Yes, I agree with him. The human characters are pretty bad. Dave Mattingly says they were all dancing to the Kaiju box, and he is talking about this image where they're all dancing to the Kaiju box. I love it.
Heading that way today.
Yeah, I love that. And Andrew Milden says, "You are a treasure, Dave." And Brad Parnell says, I think the appeal of the character is mostly the design. It's so freaking cool. Yes, it is. It's super cool. It's not quite as sleek as the more popular Ultraman, but more colorful. And kids dig primary color schemes, and I did too, or I do too. And I'm right with you, Brad. And I think that's why I love this character so much. And the problem I always have with Ultraman, and even to this day, is that Ultraman he's just a tall, skinny guy, and there's no sense of strength about him. He's just tall and lanky and skinny, and he's just silver with a splash of red. I never got into Ultraman. I like the idea of Ultraman, but for me, Jet Jaguar is where it's at. And speaking of your question about the dog face, Willow, Tony my friend, says a temple dog. They are popular in Asian culture.
That's very true.
So in this movie, Godzilla is in a protector role.
Mm-hmm.
Throughout the Godzilla movie mythos, he's a force of nature, he's evil, he's protector. And this is the era where he was a protector. So shaping his face after a temple guardian dog makes a lot of sense.
Mm-hmm.
And Cartoon Commotion Cade says, right on, Zilla, drop kick.
I don't know about you. Is that a fair question?
That's the best thing ever. I listen, I love that team up, and I love Jet Jaguar. Like, come on, yeah, do it again. And Godzilla's like, listen, as bad as this movie is, it's everything I love in life, and so it's great. And Dave Mattingly did catch my slip where I said Zootopians instead of Zetopians. You're welcome, Dave. Anyway, yeah, I really, 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 really want Jet Jaguar to return in a property. I really do. I really do. I just adore this character so much, and I feel like he had so much potential, and then the studio just never did anything with it because it was a failure in Japan. But just because you strike out the first time at bat doesn't mean you don't get up and try it again. And I think, like with today, as much love as this character gets from fandom, it's time to bring him back. Look, if we want to have a great tag team, let's put Jet Jaguar and King Caesar together. And anyway, I just... Brad Parnell says, I have a Facebook group for our local kids show from the 70s, and to this day, I can tell you Ultraman is still very popular with that crowd. I'm sure many of them will remember Jet Jaguar too. Yeah, Ultraman is definitely the more popular, but I'm going to tell you, I've tried, even recently, I went back and I tried to watch Ultraman, and my kids came down and they're like, what are you watching? And I said, Ultraman from the 60s. And my son's like, where do you find this stuff? And I'm like,
the internet is full of stuff.
This is super popular worldwide. Ultraman. And he's like, giving me the side eye. But anyway.
Oh, like, no, let's not get into that.
Okay. So I agree with you, Johnny. I think that we should come back. We should have to come back as far as Jet Jaguar goes, but only if we can see the redemption of the Zetopians. That is my wish. That is, if we're going to do this, I want to see them not be the bad guy. I want to see them, join forces or connect with the people on the surface rather than be the villains. Because I'm telling you, like, this is one of the reasons why I watched it 4 times. I know there were some rough spots, but the story was really dynamic as far as, these people who were fighting to save their people, and they lost so bad, y'all. And they had to seal it back up at the end of it. They had to seal their whole civilization back up. Like, it's supposed to be all relief, but then if you hear what the humans say about Zetopians, leave them in peace.
Well, and Willow, when Aubrey was describing the Zetopians, not Zootopians, Zetopians, did you have any flashbacks to our conversation about the hybrid lizard people in the Hollow Earth?
Yeah, it
I mean-
definitely brought me to that point where when I first saw them pop up on screen, all I can think of is, the tinfoil hat thing.
Well,
Oh, well, they
so
did have silver hats, though.
yeah. Well, and the one costume was ruined for me. The shaman of the Zootopians with the silver headband, that kind of killed it for me. If he got rid of the headband, he might have been cool.
He was
But
their holy man.
yeah, but
It's
bald
his
guys
fancy
wearing
hat.
headbands are not cool. I'm sorry.
All the fur, too, man. Embracing the 70s, there was so much body hair there. It looked a little culty, I won't lie. But
So I thought
That's
that was the point of the whole thing, was to make them look as cultish as possible.
I thought it was supposed to make them look like ancient Atlanteans a little bit, and people just kind of missed the mark.
Well,
But
like I said, I didn't remember the movie opening with a sex cult ritual dance, and that's what they reminded me of. Now, here's what I
okay,
want
for
to
the
see.
record, audience, there is no sex cult. It is just some fancy ladies dancing in some silver shiny dresses.
But that's what it feels like. That's what it feels like. I want to put a challenge out there to our super fan Zentron.
Ooh.
Zentron does fan edits and recreations or continuations of classic stories.
Ooh.
Zentron, if you can, or if you know someone, here's what I want to see. I want to see a fan edit of Godzilla versus Megalon, where all of the superfluous stuff is taken out and it's just focused on the key character beats. And I think this movie, if we reduce it to a 1 hour story, is outstanding. I have a feeling that would be the case. Someone out there needs to do that, and issue it. And I'm going to start a petition for a new Jet Jaguar movie. Well, we could talk about this all day long. And Chris Goyne says, yeah, he was really furry. Really furry.
He was so proud of himself, though. It was okay.
And let's see. Oh, Dave Mattingly says, where do you find this stuff? We found it every day after school. That's right. And Brad Parnell says, indeed we did. Right along with Speed Racer and Rocket Robin Hood. We're going to have to talk about Rocket Robin Hood later on, because I never saw that until recently. Anyway, Brad Parnell says, Johnny. Okay, so I actually know about this guy, Brad. Johnny would have appreciated our local kids show, as it was hosted by a clown who did magic called Presto the Magic Clown. I know Presto. I knew him while he was still alive.
Oh, that's cool.
And yeah, I know all about that show. We'll have to talk about that sometime, Brad. Anyway, that is it for this week. I think we've exhausted our discussion. Well, no, I could talk about this all day. And our fans, our viewers, our audience, continue to post on this video, or, comment on our audio podcast as well, or in our Facebook group, the Saturday Morning Rec Room. Let us know what you think about Jet Jaguar and Godzilla versus Megalon. Do you want to see you know what? We need to start a petition to bring Jet Jaguar back. I'm going to do it. I'm going to start it on the Facebook group.
A proper movie that is just him and not adding Godzilla towards the end just for fanfare.
Yeah, at least give them their movie by themselves. I do respect that idea.
Okay. All right. Andrew Milden does say, I have some questions. We have no time for your questions, Andrew. I love you, but it's
on our Facebook page, and next week also.
That's right.
Like, subscribe, comment, and share.
I'm going to give you guys the assignment right now for next week. Wednesday is the debut of the brand new Gamera Rebirth animated series on Netflix.
Oh.
It's only 5 episodes. I don't know if they'll drop the whole thing, but Wednesday is episode 1. Let's watch it, and we're going to talk about Gamera Rebirth next Saturday.
Okay.
Woohoo! Woo! Gamera, our savior.
And Willow, tell everyone where they can follow, find, and support you this week.
All right, you guys can find me all over social media. I am the social media socialite. Sunday, tomorrow,
Sunday
is Cryptic Crunch, and we are talking about a vampire.
Oh, I love it. What?
So,
Tell me,
Audrey,
tell
if
me
you
what?
want to get in on this, the Wisconsin vampire is what we're talking about.
Ooh.
Is that from Racine, Wisconsin?
I'm not sure if I can recall right now where they actually saw it, but yeah, back in, I believe it was the 70s, cops had chased after a guy that was on private property, and he jumped over a giant wall, and they lost track of him. So they're
And
not
that's
sure.
the end of the story. So now that you don't have to tune in tomorrow night. No, I'm kidding.
So, but there's more and more to this. So me
Ooh.
and Kale are doing a deep dive on the Wisconsin vampire.
I
Oh
love
my
it.
gosh, that
Love
sounds
it.
cool.
Aubrey, where can people follow, find, and support you?
You can find me on Instagram at Dawning Even K, also on Facebook.
Awesome. And you can obviously find me at johnnybeyond.com. You can find me at our website, backofthecerealbox.fun. But next Saturday, the return of Beyond Smoke and Mirrors at the Palace Theater in Gallatin, Tennessee.
Woo!
And we want to thank Shelly Gregory of Exit Realty, the Garden Gate team. They have stepped up to sponsor the shows so that we can keep it free for active
Oh,
duty military, police, and EMS.
thank you so much.
Yeah, so they are awesome. And if you're not in the Nashville area, but in the Western Kentucky area, like Bowling Green, Kentucky, George Bueller, I will be at the Derby stage next Saturday night. And the Derby stage is in the historic Kentucky Grand Hotel, downtown Bowling Green. 2 shows, 6 p.m. and 8:30 p.m. Come out and see us. Concessions are free.
Ooh,
Dun, dun,
nice. I might
dun.
need to take a road trip.
Yeah, it's going to be a lot of fun. So with that, everybody watching, continue to share, comment, like this video, listen to us, give us a review on Apple Podcasts. If you like the show, tell 200-300 of your closest friends and family to come share the fun. Become a supporter at buymeacoffee.com/cerealboxpod. And until the next time, follow us at backofthecerealbox.fun. We love you, mean it, and we'll catch you on the back of the cereal box.
Have a great day.
You too. Bye.